Good day, everyone. In a professional setting, it is inevitable for us to not write a letter, especially if we are inside an organization. So, with that, we are now going to discuss on how to write a professional letter, in which we have here three common letter formats that we are going to discuss later on. So, these are the full block, modified, and semi-block format. But before we go on to the in-depth discussion about these three, we will identify first when to use this format as well as their general differences. So when we talk about the differences or the distinction between these three is that the placement of the parts of the letter, or what we know the format itself, in which I will not be elaborating this one because it will be explained later on by my colleagues. Second one is the purpose or when to use these formats. So to discuss the purpose of the use of each format, I will now give the virtual floor to you, Support.
Good day everyone, my name is Charlene Bigoring and today I will present to you the purposes of the three professional letter formats, why most of the letters are written in such form, what is the purpose or the intention of writing a letter using the three professional letter formats, the full block, the modified block, and the semi-block letter format. Okay, first is to inquire, to ask for something or a request to get an information about anything in a formal way, like in business inquiry, job inquiry, and so on. Next is to respond. This time, a professional, an organization, or a company responds to an inquiry or information request. It can be in response to a payment request, response to a complaint, a customer review, respond to a job offer, and so forth. Another one is to request. It is somehow related to an inquiry letter since the purpose is to get a certain information. Yet in request letters, it can be written because there might be a need for permission, a favor for someone in the company, requesting for a leave of absence, just to grant a specific demand formally and politely. Next purpose is to complain. The professional letter formats can be used in complaint letters. For example, a customer or a professional will explain the problem or the issue that is happening, maybe by using the product or problems inside the company. Let us say, in the case of some customers with the internet services, and how do the writer or the sender want the company or organization to handle the difficult situation. Another purpose is to confirm. For instance, a company would send an employer or an individual saying that the company has accepted or approved their request. Also to acknowledge. Like in acknowledgement letters, this is a formal written letter that serves as a notice of recognition or just to confirm. A person may use the acknowledgement letter to tell a company or a professional that he or she acknowledged what they have received, what he or she has received from the company. And lastly, the using the professional letter formats, it can be used in the purpose of refusal, to refuse or to reject in a formal or polite way. This is why in business refusal letters, these letters express their declination for business ideas, business applications, um, rejecting business proposals, or even to convey refusal in job or employment offers. In general, the three professional letter formats are used in business, commonly used in businesses purposes. Formal letters for communicating with organizations, companies, departments, individuals, and the purpose or the intention is to inquire, respond, request, to confirm, to complain, to acknowledge, as well as to refuse. Now, I will give the virtual floor to the next presenter. Thank you.
Okay, so now let us move on to the basic parts of the letter. First, we have the letterhead, wherein it composes the name of the company. In the second line, the address, and followed by the contact information. So we have here an example. So this is the name of the company. So take note in writing the name of the company or the recipient. It should be in all capitalized letter and bold. Okay, so in the second line, it is, of course, the address followed by the contact information. So in our example, the telephone number and the fax number of the company is written, then followed by the email of the company. Okay, so next is the date line. So it is the date when the letter was written. So we have here two ways of writing the date line. First is the American way, which is like writing the date in like a normal way, wherein the month is written first, followed by the date and the year. So in the second way, the British way, the date is written first, followed by the month and year. So you should take note to never write the date line like this, like writing the month in a short term or writing the date in like an ordinal number, wherein you will put TH, or writing the date line like this, like just putting numbers and slash, okay? Next is the inside address. So in the inside address, it has in the first line, it has the name and title of the recipient, followed by the position of the recipient, and then the company name, company address, and the zip code of the recipient. Okay, so in our example here, this is the name of the recipient. So in writing the name, it should be in all capitalized letter again and in bold. So John Luis and Belchez, it is the name of the recipient, and his position is written in the second line, which is president, and in the third line, his company name, which is JLNB Marketing, and in the fourth line, the company address. So this is his company address, and then followed by his zip code. Okay. So next is the salutation. We have here different examples for different positions. So we have here, dear Mr. Belches in our previous example. So if you're writing for a professor, you could write dear Professor Mark, or for reverend, you could write dear Reverend Tagle, or for mayor, dear Mayor Soto. Or if you don't know exactly your recipient, you could write dear Sir, Madam. For men, you could write gentlemen. For girls, you could write, or woman, you could write ladies or madams. Okay. So in the body of the letter, so the body of the letter should be single spaced, and in between paragraphs, it should be double spaced. So like here in our example, this paragraph should be single spaced, and in between paragraph, between these two paragraphs, the space in here should be double spaced. Okay. Next, we have the complementary clause. So in writing the complementary clause, only the first letter of the word should be capitalized. Like here in our example, in writing very truly yours, only the first letter, which is letter B, should be capitalized. And we also have here different example of complementary clause. So you could write sincerely or sincerely yours sincerely or respectfully yours or cordially yours. Okay. And then last is the signature block. So in writing the signature block, first is the handwritten signature, followed by the printed name and the position. So I put my name here as an example. So this is my handwritten signature. So in here it is the first line, the handwritten signature, then followed by the printed name. So in here my printed name is written in all capitalized letter and in bold, of course. Okay. In the Next line, it is followed by my position, which is, for example, my position is faculty member CED. So that's all for the parts of the letter.
So hello, good day, and I'm going to discuss the formats and design elements in writing a letter and the tactical communication. So first off, and in writing a letter, we need to consider the standards for designing a letter. So first off, in in its paper, we could use an A4 or an 8.5 11-inch paper in writing a letter. And also, we need to consider its margin. So we could use 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch margins in all four sides. And with its font, we could use Times New Roman and Arial with and with has having a 10 to 12 font size. So next up, we have to consider the spacing of our letter. So first up, in terms of within the paragraphs, we could use a single space. But in the between the paragraphs, so whether it's first paragraph, second paragraph, or third paragraph, it must be double space. And also, in the last sentence, and with the closing remarks such as sincerely or very truly yours or sincerely yours, we need to use a double spacing. And for the last one, in terms of the handwritten signature part of the letter, we need to leave at least 3 to 5 spaces. So the signature could have a space and able to have an enough space to write the signature. So in summing up, so why do we need to consider its font, its margin, its spacing? It will all boils down that our letter needs to be perfectly fit on our paper, because sa in order to avoid an extra line on our paper, maybe it would be added in the second paper, but it has only uh, a 2 to 5 lines. So we need to consider the spacing in lines, so in order to be able to fit perfectly our letter in the paper that we are going to use. Okay, so let's take a look. So from the different style format and writing a letter in technical communication. So first up, in the full block style format, you could see in the full block all of the elements starting from the letterhead up until the signatory part. It was all aligned in the left side. But in contrary, in the modified block style format, from the letterhead, though some letter it was the letterhead is formatted in the middle part. So you could see in the date line and signatory part, signatory part of the letter, it was aligned in the upper or the rightmost part of the letter. So you could see the difference of the modified block and the full block style format. But in this upon looking the modified and full block, it was a formal style. But in the third one, the semi block style format, it is more of an informal style format, which, as you could see, there is no letterhead and there is no so and there are only date line and the signatory part of the letter. So it was also not justified in the semi block style format. So uh, that's all for the different formats and its design in writing a letter in the technical communication.
Hello, good day. So, as a continuation of our group's presentation, here's the next topic, which is the letter tones. During in person communication, there are verbal, audio, and visual cues that convey how we feel about what we are saying. For example, our facial expressions, voice pitch, and hand gestures give the other person more information about our attitude towards a certain topic. So the same goal as the different tones in writing, which is to illustrate through words our emotional perspective about what we are communicating. So certain words, sentence structures, and punctuation choices elicit different types of tones. Okay, so moving on. In literature, tone refers to how the author expresses their attitude throughout their writing, similar as the tone in writing the letter, which refers to the feeling that a particular letter invokes to a reader. Okay, so for us to better understand the tones in writing, here are some of its examples. We have a formal, informal, pessimistic, optimistic, tense, curious, uplifting, aggressive, assertive, informative, entertaining, sarcastic, and cooperative. Okay, so let's have first the formal tone. So a formal tone is common in a professional or academic context when the piece needs to be direct and thorough while maintaining a respectful feel. So formal pieces often include full words with no contractions or other shortened words and does not include long terms. So it is basically grammatically correct and emphasizes facts rather than opinion. Okay, so I have here the examples of a formal tone in specifically writing a letter. Okay, for the first example, after I present my plan for the new project, I would love to hear your thoughts and will open the meeting up to sharing with everyone on the team. Um, it also includes according to the data to meet my concern and respectfully. Okay, so moving on, let's have the informal tone. So informal is the opposite tone of formal and sounds more conversational. Some people write in the same way they speak to a friend, and this is known as an informal tone of writing. So in here, pieces written in an informal tone may include colloquial or slang phrases and shortened words such as contractions. So the author of an informal piece or a letter may also convey more emotion and personal opinions in the piece. So here are the examples. Okay, for the first, I've got tons of time to do my course. Hey, what's up? How are you doing? I hope all is well. I just read the novel which you wrote last week and in Kolkata. How can someone write so beautifully? Amazing. Okay, next we have the pessimistic tone. So this tone reflects a negative view of a situation or the belief that a situation will not get better. So pessimism is not realism, but an author may use this tone when they feel negative while writing or when they want to reflect a point of view that sees things negatively. Okay, so we are very much familiar with this tone because we often hear or read this, specifically in social media sites. Am I right? Okay, so for the example, I have here one example. Okay, I got diagnosed with cancer and my dog died. I just don't believe that anything will get better anytime soon. Okay, so next is the optimistic tone. Optimistic is the opposing tone to pessimistic, or uh, in other words, pessimistic is being negative, while optimistic is being positive. So, in optimistic tone refers to seeing the world in a positive light and conveys the belief that um, things will get better even during challenging situations. So, here are my examples of the optimistic tone. For the first one, you got this. Good luck today. I know you'll do great. I know this won't be easy, but I also know that what you've got, what it takes to get through it. Sending you a good thoughts and hoping you believe in yourself just as much as I believe in you. Okay, so we see the positivity here. Okay, next. The next tone is the tense tone. So this tone helps to keep the reader feeling unsure of what will happen next. The author in here might use uh, a tense tone rather, when writing a mystery or thriller, and they want to convey feelings of worry and concern. So in most stories, a tense tone will lead to a resolution and the tone will change. So another term for a tense tone is a worried tone, which can make a reader feel anxious or apprehensive about what is to come. Okay, for my example, you must pay this bill or we will foreclose your home. So there is a tense or worried tone that is being conveyed. Next is a curious tone. So this tone reflects the author or the character wants to learn more about a particular topic or situation, or that the reader will continue to uncover important details. So in here, someone might write with a curious tone if they are trying to uncover new information or describing a young child who is learning more about the world around them. So using this tone can keep a reader intrigued as they continue to read the piece or the letter. Okay, so for example, he continued to ask questions as we drove to school, wondering about the color of the sky, why the birds were flying in a V-shaped pattern, and whether I would be there to pick him up after his nap. The mystery gift didn't reveal the sender's name. Tilly had a list of questions in her brain, hungry to uncover the truth, and using the word wondering. All right, so next tone will be the uplifting tone. So this tone seeks to convey a supportive and motivating feeling, providing reassurance to the reader that they can overcome challenging situations or take new steps in their journey. So using this tone is common among self-authors and motivational speakers. For example, I just wanted you to know how much you are loved today. I believe in you and you are going to do great. Okay, so this ends my part, and the succeeding parts will be uh, presented by Miss Daniela Dizon. Thank you.
Okay. Now we have an aggressive tone. So an aggressive tone is conveys feelings of frustration and anger. So an author may seek to prove their point in a harsh or unfriendly way. So an aggressive tone is often used when somebody feels like they are in an argument or in confrontations, and it can be found in sentences that expresses anger, frustration, and other negative emotions. So this type of writing might also contain threats to the person being talked about, as well as warnings for how they should behave in the future encounters with the writer. So, for example, we have the answer is no, and I don't want to hear another word about it for as long as we both live. Next is you better tell your boss where you're going next time. Now we have assertive. An assertive tone is usually used in writing when the writer or the author is trying to make a strong point. So, this can be seen as bossy or demanding, but it also means that the author knows what they are talking about and has confidence in their opinion. So, sentences with an assertive tone often have confident statements like "I know," and some people tend to assume that an assertive tone is the same as the aggressive tone, but they have differences. For example, an assertive tone conveys us authority and confidence, while the aggressive comes across as more angry or harsh. So, when writing assertively, an author will often present things in a straightforward or direct way. For example, as she spoke, her conviction was unshakable, and those listening felt moved to join the committee and make changes in their community. Next is, we need to book soon if you want this place for our wedding ceremony. And last example, I know I'll never wear those shoes again. Next is the informative tone. So it seeks to inform the reader about a particular topic or subject, and it is usually found on educational materials. Um, it is usually found in educational materials, and the information here might be obtained through research or experience, but it's clear that this type of communication is not based on personal opinion or speculations only. Uh, Sentences with an informative tone are typically objective and factual, with little to no use of emotionality. For example, you should avoid drinking alcohol within 6 hours before taking your medicine because it will interfere with its effectiveness. Next is an aloe vera is a popular plant in many countries, and it has been used as an important medicinal ingredient throughout the world. Next is the entertaining tone. It seeks to help the reader enjoy the material, and it might be humorous as well as make the reader laugh, or it might simply be light-hearted and enjoyable. For example, knock knock, who's there? No bell. No bell who? No bell. That's why I knocked on the door. Next, we have the cooperative tone. So it is often seen in materials that are written in the workplace, and it expresses the need for mutual participations as a team or group of people who works toward a shared goal. And this type of tone includes positive and collaborative elements along with the phrases that indicates the desire to work together. For example, after present my plan for the new project, I would love to hear your thoughts and will open the meeting up to sharing by everyone on the team. And another example is I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. So that's all for the discussion of the letter tone.